Hello, 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 hello. I think I'm live now. I believe. Yeah, it says I'm live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Konbanwa minasan. Yokoso, yokoso. Welcome in. I don't know why I'm trying to use my Japanese lately. A few disclaimers before I start this. Mine energy has been like all over the place. We are definitely playing that. How many how many cards are gonna keep coming out? Okay, there we go. Felt like a clown car. We're definitely playing the polarity sort of game today. Apparently between Cancer and Capricorn. But it's the Pisces in me. Like whoever is that Lizzo? It's the Pisces in me. The way that she said that or whatever. I'm not even gonna try. Oh yeah, I am. I said I'm not gonna try, but we are gonna try because this is not cute. Oh my gosh, it's my legs. Did you see that? Did you see that? Let's see. Oh, it's a lot of wonky. Ooh, I ain't putting no lotion on y'all. I literally just got out the shower. Don't judge me. Oh, it's a little tight. Oh, it's a lot of tight. But it'll work. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running this the same I've run the last things. And we're going to be looking at Leo season. These look like court cards and aces, so I currently have these separated out by majors, courts and aces, and minors. But some of the cards were left in, so I gotta see which is which. So I'm actually gonna run one of these first, because I already have them separated out. So like, why not, right? And then I'm going to. Hey, Casey. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm probably not. Oh yeah, that's the disclaimer I was gonna put out. A few disclaimers today. So I'm playing the Capricorn Cancer spectrum because I'm a Pisces. So I'm dry. I'm wet. um. Also, my Mars is getting lit up again. I feel like I went through a Venus activation early in the year. Now I'm going through a Mars one. It started the first time Mercury came through Cancer. When Mars was still in Pisces, it hit me a little rough. I was super just hot. Now, ooh, the Ten of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. Now that I'm reading all these up right, by the way. And then when Mercury retrograded, it hit me again. Ooh, Four of Wands with the Ten of Swords. Death to all these dreams then, huh? I'm just playing. Hey, Clorinda. I'm good. I've been, Two of Wands with the Two of Cups. Okay, bye, Ten of Swords. Don't miss ya. I've been good. I'm good. How are you? How are y'all? Oops. That's a lot, but we'll take it. This is for Leo season, and we'll just see. Well, this is the precursor to Leo season, so I guess this is the energy that we're feeling going into Leo season. Yeah, so I'm about to, and I just showered. I'm a little ashy. I would put on lotion, but I don't want to get the cards all lotiony smelling. You know what I mean? Ooh. Well, here we go. Hey, Zelda. How are you doing today? Ace of Swords. Love that. Let's actually shift this. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. We're going to shift these over here. So we're going to see what minor we're feeling. The court or ace is the Ace of Swords. Now, I put the aces with the court cards because, in my opinion, they're the same energy. But the court card is like us. Okay. Well, we got two. The Hierophant and the Devil. Oh, this is going to be a choose your energy. Choose your alignment. Are you a Jedi or a Sith? I don't watch Star Wars, so don't go crazy if y'all do. Don't start making Star Wars comments because that's literally all I know. And I think the Sith are the bad Jedis. Now, what are y'all talking about? All right, Zelda. See you later. What am I talking about? I'm going through a Mars awakening right now, so it could be hot, it could be dry, it could be wet. I don't know. It is what it is. Just a fair warning to y'all, lovely people. And we have our energy. Ooh. Mm. Mm. Let's actually work our way backwards. And we're going to try to guess what these three could be. Because I like to do that sometimes. So we have the Ace of Swords with a brand new. This is new information that we've come across on our journey along our path. Now, this new information is going to open up new doors. And it opens up new doors by shifting the way that we think about and perceive certain situations. Now, there's the Hierophant approach, and then there's the Devil approach. And I don't want to go Hierophant good, Devil bad right off the jump. So let's fill into this and let's see. Now, the Hierophant approach could be. Okay, yeah, I don't think this is good or bad. With the Hierophant approach, I'm getting this is us taking this information and trying to get it to match systems that already are. And with the Devil approach, I feel like this is taking an unorthodox sort of approach. Right? That's how I'm feeling it. It's like this is the classical approach and this is the new approach. Um, and it kind of sort of feels that simple. There are also two pillars over here. Okay, all right. So yeah, this is like the heresy. This is the heretic, but it's not bad. Basically, with the classic approach, this is about falling in line with systems that already are, with powers that already be, with this new information. And I think that's why we're getting the Ace of Swords as compared to the Page, the Knight, the King, or the Queen, right? The Page, the Knight, the King, or the Queen is what we do when we actually sort of get it. So the Ace would be closest to the Page energy, but we haven't fully grasped it yet. And so with the Hierophant, this is, I think, us trying to go through traditional means of understanding whatever this is. And again, with this Devil energy, it's about really taking the information kind of sort of as it is and not needing to verify it and validate it against something that's already out there. So I'm feeling a Tower energy because it's a brand new understanding. Maybe a Moon energy, maybe an Eight of Cups energy. There's going to be an unknown energy in here, I feel. Hey, Clorinda. Okay, love you too. Talk to you soon. I'm just kind of going today. I may be on here for a minute because I'm doing this before I do it, but not too long. I'm feeling a Moony Eight of Cups type of dark energy and coming out of that. Maybe a star, probably a tower. Oh wait, girl, these are all minors. What am I doing? So if these are minors, I'm feeling like an Eight of Cups, Five of Cups, Eight of Cups, Five of Cups, Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, Five of Pentacles, maybe a Seven of Wands type of energy in here. And again, that's something standing against something old. Now, also feeling like a Two of Wands, new beginning, maybe even a Three of Wands type of energy for a new start. Or like a Two of Swords, indecision. What's another indecisive energy? Maybe a Four of Swords between the 3 and the 5. Okay, that's enough theory and conjecture. Let's just see. First, we have the Three of Cups. Girl, did not guess her, did we? I feel like this is a little bright. Let me try to adjust this for a moment. I hope I don't mess up the camera. Up. There goes the camera. Oh, that's the wrong button. How do wait? I like that. There we go. It's a little darker. It's not too bad, honestly. Well, let's see. Well, we'll try to. Maybe I should just leave it. Oh, see. Okay, work. So with this, I didn't see this as this, but I feel like the Three of Cups would be an intersection of Devil energy and Hierophant energy. The Three of Cups would be us trying to find like-minded people that also share whatever this new vision is that we've been granted access to. But again, more so than a vision, this is about information And so it may be, we may be trying to find other people who are utilizing this information in a similar way, shape, form, or fashion. Someone who can give context to whatever this information is. And so again, that's between the devil and that hierophant energy, because it isn't necessarily as like Han Solo. I don't know why I'm on Star Wars today. I really don't know why, because I'm not a fan of Star Wars. But so yeah, we're on the goofy side of my energy right now, which is cool. I've been like this, honestly. It only gets dry when like I need to. Um, it's about finding like-minded people and finding a community. So it's not completely like I have to be the anti-hero. I have to stand against tradition, but it also isn't. I need to abide by tradition. So this is our wild card. Next we have the Six of Wands. Girl didn't feel her energy either. I'm just all off. I'm feeling the Six of Wands with this Ace of Swords kind of on the devil side of this. It almost feels a little bit like I'm going to use this information in order to. It's a very like egoic Six of Wands, very proudful, proudful, proud, very proud. It's a very egoic, very proud, looking for that recognition type of energy. And now over here is the Five of Swords. I didn't guess any of these, which is amazing. I love it. But with the Five of Swords, I feel like this is just lost. And so this Five of Swords feels like it's more of this Hierophant energy, and not just because they're both fives. Oh my gosh! The devil is 15 and it's a 6. And I felt this with that devil energy. Huh. Maybe it is something about the numerology then. I feel like this Five of Swords is lost, and so it's just trying to find some. It's like kind of sort of like this energy, or it takes an approach of this energy that's all about finding community, but this energy is about creating and building and establishing one. This energy is so lost that it's already looking for one. This is the sheep that's looking for a new shepherd. And I'm not trying to call anybody a sheep, but it's that energy. Because you're so confused, you're so lost, you don't know what to do. Now this looks a lot bluer on camera than it does IRL. Just throwing that out there. That does too. Which is cool. I have the color turned up, so maybe that's why. So yeah, with the one that's lost, doesn't know what to do with this information, it seeks out this Hierophant energy to give it structure and order and form. With the one who seeks some sort of validation and platform with this information, they come into this devil energy, where again it's very ego driven. And then we have this Three of Pentacles, or this Three of Cups, sorry, in the middle, which could also be a Three of Pentacles energy. The Three of Pentacles energy with this would be more so like giving this small community something physical, making it physically rooted. I don't know, maybe y'all create a website together, or turn it into a business, or do something where it starts to involve money. But this is that in-between energy of finding like-minded people and building with them, and not necessarily needing to stand up above the crowd. Now, I am curious. We have the Two of Pentacles, which I was feeling, and the World card. And so this, I feel like, is what's running really behind the scenes. And honestly, I feel like with this Ace of Swords, the reason why it's not in hand yet, the reason why it's not a page, Knight, King, or Queen, is because some folks may not even know what to do with this information. It's so brand new, or so far outside of whatever someone was really in the space of working with. And so it makes sense. Like, either you find people who you believe are already working with this, or you think this is so new, it's really going to set you far above everyone else, and you try to, capitalize on that. Now, that energy isn't necessarily bad. I was originally feeling it like coming out of a space of pride, but at the same time, again, Capricorn money. So they say the love of money is the root of all evil, not money in and of itself. So up here we have this sort of in between worlds, this new realization, and then this closing of cycles. Also, we have fixed energy here, which is Saturn. Right? We have the bull, the lion, the man, and the eagle. That is Taurus, Scorpio. Hold on, wait. And this one, it's the lion, the deer, the man or the angel, and the bird. And then we have Yggdrasil, the world tree. The deer is Taurus, the lion is Leo, the bird is Scorpio, the angel or man is Aquarius. And again, Saturn rules the world. It's all about, because Saturn is fixed, right? So, choose wisely, I feel like, is the message here. Let's mix these up. Now, this may take a moment because I got to get into this, but it doesn't seem like too many folks are coming into this with too much of a firm expectation into this Leo season. Six of Swords and the King of Cups, which is understandable. Ten of Pentacles with the Six of Swords. I don't think it necessarily is for us to understand or know. That's why I was thinking like maybe the moon would come out or an energy like that. Also with the moon, like the Eight of Cups, right? You're leaving something behind, but you don't necessarily know what you're going towards. Taurus. And the Ten of Pentacles. I'm going to do my best to shuffle this up, y'all. And I literally just separated this deck out, like, right before I used this. And I didn't even, like, use the cards. I just shuffled it out, shuffled it a little bit, saw what was on the top, and was like, okay, work, put these away. So I'll give it a few more shuffles. Then I'm going to lay all the cards out like I usually do. We're going to be looking for the Strength card as the significator for Leo. We're going to read the 4 cards around it. The cards to the left, to my left, are going to be sort of the lessons that we've learned / the winds of change behind our backs, or at our backs. Hey, there's the Sun and the Eight of Wands. The card to the right, to my right, will be the oncoming challenge. The card under it will be our foundation, or the ground that we stand on. And the card above it will be, it's the sky above us. So it could be something that we're reaching towards, or if it's dark, it could be our fear overlooming, right? It's kind of sort of what we perceive of the future, or what we see happening, based on the ground that we stand on and that intersection, that present moment. So, and I feel like doing one of these. Don't ask me why, don't ask me why. I'm strange and I like it. That's just the way I am. Have y'all ever seen the Buzz on Maggie? Can't change, can't hide it. That's just the way I am. You might as well get over it. Don't try to understand. I'm feeling like really good and goofy today. I'm not really questioning it. But yeah, so Mars is in Aries right now. So Mars is closing in on my Venus. My Venus is in Aries. My Mars is in Cancer, 9 degrees. So Mercury is hitting it. Mars is squaring it. Uranus is sextiling it. And it's just a lot of fire. But not as uncontrolled as it was at first. I've gotten over my initial disappointments with folks. I guess I should say. So now I'm just like, oh, Patrick, but this is how people are, and you know that. I'm like, oh, you're right. Whenever I talk to somebody else and they're like, somebody did this and that to me, I'm just like, well, that's what people do. You know? 3 of Swords with the Page of Swords. So someone wanting to move on from that Three of Swords space to come into the piece of the Four of Swords, but may not necessarily know how. The Page of Swords in this deck is one of my least favorites because he just does not look like he knows how to wield that sword, honestly. And I'm afraid that he's going to hurt himself. Okay, 3 more, a cut, and then we'll get this started. Ooh, strength with that Two of Pentacles. I feel like that's the strength to hold your vibration over anyone else's, because if you don't, Seven of Swords, someone may come in and snatch it from ya. So Leo season, upcoming Leo season, let's see what it's going to bring us. If I had any initial thoughts on Leo season, I'm going to say, I don't know, I'm feeling like it's going to amp some people up, but they may be let down. It may not be as hype as it usually is. Also, there's a lot of genuine concern about the upcoming school year, which starts after Leo season. So it's like figuring all that out over here in the US. But maybe it won't be bad. You know, we'll see. I stand to be corrected. So, first card out is the Queen of Cups. Starting out with that Cancerian cardinal energy right by Virgo. So this is on the opposite sides of that Leo energy with that Ace of Wands coming out after the let me stop. I was trying to do a commentator thing, but I failed. 4 of Wands into the 6 of Wands, though. That's cute. So again, we're looking for the Strength card as the significator for Leo energy. I'm going to do 3 layers, hopefully. Cancer under Cancer, Gemini under Virgo, and the Fool under this Ace of Wands. And I love that, because it's like the Ace of Wands is what he ties his knapsack to, this Fool. The 3 of Wands under the 4 of Wands. Nope, that's the 2 of Wands. I always call that the 3. Always. 10 of Pentacles under that 6 of Wands, though, with the 3 of Cups under the Ace of Cups. So there is an opportunity for like-minded folks to kind of sort of come together and to help and teach each other. Oh, goodness. All right. This Page of Pentacles is effing stuffed up. Knocked over that karma, like, what karma? Karmic rewards. We build and ooh, and then there's the whole world. Yep. See, that's what I'm talking about. The 9 of Pentacles is out, followed by that Page of Wands. Second row, we're starting with the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups on top of this Queen of Cups. Loving this energy that's coming out. Y'all loving it? Let's see. There's that King of Swords, who I guess I'm a fan of, with the Empress and the Lovers, followed by the Wheel of the Year. The Wheel of the Year, Wheel of Fortune, sitting right on top of that Ace of Cups, with this Death card on top of, what was that? Oh, the Chariot. Death on top of the Chariot. And on a pale horse. And then there's another, well, that's a red horse. And then the King. Okay, loving this. 6 of Swords. Knight of Cups. So we got the King of Cups, the 6 of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles, both facing in the same direction. The 2 of Cups coming out with this 8 of Swords, though. And then there's the card we're looking for, Strength. It's in the present, so I kind of like that. And so we're going to do 1 more of these, and then we're going to pull the cards. There's that Page of Swords. Third row, the 7 of Wands. Okay. So we go from the Queen of Cups to the 10 of Cups to the 7 of Wands, followed by that High Priestess. So I feel like with that energy, with those 3, there is an advantage that we have. And that advantage is being connected to our heart. If we already connected to our heart before, it's like if we learned the lesson of the last cycle, then we should be fine. And that's one thing, it's like, I don't want to get full into it, but like I said, I've been disappointed. And the first time Mercury hit my Mars was at the height of everything. Ooh, 6 of Pentacles on top of that 6 of Swords. Love that. Knight of Swords on top of that Knight of Cups, going in the opposite direction with the 4 of Cups coming after. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to leave this face down so I can remember where that Strength card is, because I'll forget. And then there's that Devil energy again. Oh, goodness. So I guess it's not necessarily bad. The Devil, the Moon, Justice, the Sun, and the Eight of Cups. Four majors. The Devil, the Moon, Justice, the Sun, and then the Eight of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Page of Cups. Pages were good at one point, but I don't know where I stand on them now. And then we're going to remove all of this. Removing all of this. And then we'll see what's up. I was thinking about keeping this, so I'll actually keep it, and we'll see. Just as the energy sort of looming outside of everything. And the moon is on top, and we have this, like, you know, new moon in Cancer. I wanted to say Cancer corn. Okay, let me not mess this up. Hold it! That may have been a little loud, y'all. So these come. These come. 1, 2, 3. This comes. 1, 2, 3. This comes at the bottom. Oh, wow. I just saw what's under that High Priestess, and I love it. This should be on the side. Yeah, because then this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice. Work. Work. Yes. This is here. This is here. These go here. And again, the bottom of the deck is that Page of Cups. At the top is the Knight of Wands, I believe. No, it's the Fool. The Fool at the top, the Page of Cups at the bottom. So this is all about, I will say that, like, if we're not going after the things that we really want, because Leo is a very heart-led energy, but it's also a fire sign. Now, it's interesting because Cancer is just as heart-led as Leo, but Cancer is feminine, receptive, intuitive. It's the cardinal, but I always struggle seeing Cancer as a cardinal energy, honestly, not gonna lie. And my Mars is in Cancer, so, but you know, Mars doesn't necessarily like Cancer, so so maybe that's why I don't see it. But Leo is a fixed energy, and I kind of sort of, well, maybe because it's fire. I feel like fire is inherently kind of sort of a cardinal energy. Just because fire being the light, being the vision, it's the first interaction we have with the physical world before we open our eyes and see it, before we set our feet on the ground and touch it, right? Before we're fully over our separation from our mothers and feel the world as it is, right? I don't know why I'm saying it that way, but fire is feeling cardinal to me right now. Earth would be fixed because it doesn't go anywhere. Water would be mutable because it's between everybody, and then air would be an intersection of like mutable and cardinal energy, because thoughts typically lead things, right? It's either you think first and then you act, or you act first without thinking. Either the thought or the action comes first. Both swords and wands can represent that mental aspect. The wands being more of the creative side of the mental, and the sword being the more logical side of the mental. I don't know why I'm going into wands and swords. Anyway, with Leo, if we come from the heart and if we act, I feel like there's an ability, a potentiality to actually get things that we want. But if we don't do what it is that we know we should be doing, then it's going to make it more difficult. And that's where we may be exiting the season feeling a little let down, depending on what we've done in the season. And what we do in the season is in some way linked to the things that we're already doing now, where we've seen that Ace of Swords and the different sort of ways that we've gone about that Ace of Swords energy. That Ace of Swords could just be the revelation and realization that whatever we were doing before isn't quite working for us, or it is working, right? As everything's happened, either you've discovered it is working for you or it's not working for you. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the middle card as the primary and then use the other two as clarifiers. So I love that we get this Ace of Swords and we get this Devil energy, because we just saw y'all, girls. Also, I do love that we're in the present moment. Last few times I did these, in Pisces season, everything came out like down here. for like a few of the Pisces ones. And it came out in the third one, maybe. But when we went into like Aries season, it came out at the top, towards the middle ish, like somewhere around here. And I think it was in the middle. So it felt like there was a certain time where we were focused on the future, like what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen in the future. And then we shifted to the present moment. And so I take the first layer as the past, second layer as the present, third layer as the future. And I'm kind of going to keep that in mind as I interpret all of this, but for the most part, it's just kind of sort of like these two clarify this, right? We'll see what it feels like, you know? We got this moon energy sitting out in the future. Beyond all of this, just shrouded in mystery and uncertainty, right? And then we have this fire here. This could be Cancer season into Leo season, because we got the moon Cancer, we got the wand that don't look like it's burning out, look pretty fixed to me, Leo, and it's passing the torch. This moon is going to be passing the torch on over to the sun, and it's the job of the sun to really amplify this vision that the moon is giving it. Because the moon reflects sunlight, right? And so it's almost like the sun has entrusted a piece of its vision to the moon, but the moon, being a body that is much, much smaller, and also being a body that is subjected to cycles, it can't give us the fullness of the vision. It can only hold a piece of it, and it can only display a piece of it. But the moon imparts it to us, then we magnify it, and we compare what we have to the sun. It's almost like a game of, what do you call it? I'm trying not to call it, it's phone something. It's that phone something game that you play, like one person whispers something into someone else's ear, and they keep whispering it and whispering it and whispering it and whispering it, and you compare the message at the end to the message at the beginning to see how closely the two match. It's like that. But in this case, the sun is like your soul. And for some reason, some of us can't communicate directly to it. Oh my gosh, majors, love it. Temperance, just saw you, girl. Welcome. For some reason, it can't communicate with us directly, so it's trying to communicate with us through our environment, through the information that we come across. And I feel like the soul is trying to utilize our emotions as everything comes up to lead us to it. And that's kind of sort of this high priestess, hermit energy, clarified by this Ace of Swords that I'm feeling, right? It almost feels like this, because the hermit is shining its light in the direction of the high. Nope. I'm actually liking it this way. And not only because it feels more misguided, but it's like the high priestess is whispering to the hermit. It's very much like, I don't know if y'all have ever seen a show or a movie where there are like whispers and there's a character like, where's that voice coming from? Like Key House. I don't know if y'all seen Lock and Key. The first few episodes I lived for. The last few episodes I was like, really? But that's fine. I enjoyed it overall. But the keys were like whispering, right? It's like that. And this hermit is trying to follow the whispers to discover whatever it is that this high priestess is leading him to. And along the way, we acquire these aces of swords. Now, here we have 9 swords right here in the past. So let's just subtly transition into this like actual reading, shall we? To the best of our ability. Hold up, girl. Hold up. This is the card I was looking for. Where all this extra come from? Am I going to have to do this all over? No, we're not doing this all over. I made a mistake, but we're going to take it as it is. Which is really interesting. Because then that shifts this a little bit. Or it shifts it a lot a bit. Strength really came out in the first pass and I didn't even catch it. What over here did I think was strength? Why did I think this 9 of Wands was strength? No, the 8 of Swords. Because then I flipped this over on top. And I was supposed to be flipping this over on top of the strength card. But the strength card, according to this, came out in the first round. And I completely missed it. So, for y'all folks watching at home, if y'all can tell, girl, she's slacking. But I actually do like this because it's coming out after this eclipse energy with karma. And if we recall, somebody came and they slid karma over. The world card, I think, came and knocked karma over. Or maybe it was a different card. So with this Leo energy, we actually are future focused. But it's like future past. And future past is kind of sort of the present. But future past is the future that we project for ourselves using and utilizing the information from the past. Right? This isn't even present future. This isn't even us looking at the future from the space that we are in now. This is us looking to the future with a lens that maybe we've already discarded, but depending on how much we've integrated this Ace of Swords energy, we may not yet have access to the fuller vision that is the present. So this is going to be one of those. Okay, wow, shoot. Sign me up. I guess I signed myself up for this. Ooh, 10 of Wands. Coming off of that 10 of Swords and Temperance energy. I don't know if y'all can see her up there. Yeah, y'all can. Okay, nice. And then over here we have the Two of Cups, clarified by the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords, which I feel is accurate. And then in the middle, because I made a mistake, we have the Eight of Swords clarified by the... Oh, it's the Nine of Wands. I didn't even look at her. Why did I think this Eight of Swords was the Strength card? This moon really got me an illusion. I don't know. We'll dig into it. Everything comes out as it's supposed to. And I've actually made this mistake before, I believe. I feel like I did it with Scorpio for some reason. Even though that doesn't make sense. I feel like I did it with Scorpio. And I feel like I thought it was here, but it either came out up here or down here. So let's just get into this. So, looking at upcoming Leo season. What is that one X-Men movie? Ghosts of Future Past? And I only, like, look at me talking about this stuff like I actually watch it, girl. The only X-Men movies I've seen are like parts of First Class, Logan, and I only saw Logan so I can get my Nintendo Switch after the movie. Because they both released on the same night or something. I had friends that were going to see Logan. I wanted my Nintendo Switch. They were going to a late show. It got out after midnight. I had a pre-order midnight release. Boom, it all worked. And Logan was actually enjoyable. Spoiler alert, he let himself die at the end of the movie, and I didn't too much appreciate that. Especially after he found his daughter. More spoilers. I thought he would have chosen to stick around for her, but he didn't. Which is fine, I guess. Like, who wants to be immortal if all your friends are dead? I don't know. So, Future Past. I think what Days of Future Past was... they had to go back into the past to do something because something came in the future that they couldn't beat or something, and it was killing everybody or something like that. I don't remember. I saw it like one time, and I was probably at like my auntie's house or something like that, where somebody else was watching it. I remember my cousin... No, that was Thor Ragnarok that I watched because other people were watching it. Anyway, I'm just talking about stuff I don't know about today. Star Wars and X-Men. And now Marvel. Goodness, who am I? Not a fan of this nerd. Let me stop. So, in the space of the winds at our back, in the space of the lessons that we had the opportunity to have overcome, or the oncoming change. Now, the winds at our back, it's like the winds of change, and people naturally resist change, but the energy of change has the ability to kind of sort of make itself manifest, regardless of if we're ready or not. So we actually have the Two of Cups coming out, which I actually really love, because I was just talking about how Leo, or this moving forward with this Leo energy, is going to be very important, that we're connected to the heart, right? And I'm just going to say this as it is. One of my frustrations that I was having with a bunch of people who I came across with their astrology is when all of the craziness, and I don't want to say foolishness, when all of the darker shadows started to initially come to the light, there was a whole bunch of people, or a few people, or some of the people that I came across that was like, shut your eyes, plug your ears, and la 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 la, pretend like it's not happening. And then when we come upon the eclipse and Cancer season, then people wanted to be like, oh, connect to your heart and find your happy place and family and blah 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 whatever. Like we didn't just previously have 18 months of the North Node in Cancer. You shouldn't have to go looking for your heart. You should be living in it by now. Like that's literally what 18 months of North Node in Cancer was just about. And now that the North Node is in Gemini, it's like, okay, what are we going to start doing now that we are in our heart? So if you ain't in your heart yet, you're late to the party. This is where I get Capricorn dry. Sorry, not sorry. Now back to the fun part. So, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm just playing the spectrum today. Because it's like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So we have the Two of Cups that is clarified by the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. The Ace of Pentacles being in the past, the Nine of Swords being in the future. This to me is giving me, it's like a worry and a doubt and an anxiety and a fear. But it's interesting that the Two of Swords sort of came out. Because in the past, it's like we saw a new lucrative, or we saw a whole new world. But now, the past, okay, alright, thank you. It's like, slow down. Alright. The past is the Ace of Pentacles. The past present is the Two of Cups. And the past future is this Nine of Swords. So in the past, I feel like we had a certain plan of what we thought was going to happen with this year or in our lives or whatever. And because of the events that have happened, now it sort of caused us to change and shift in the past before we even came to this present moment, right? So this could be the deep past and the more recent past. But what should ultimately be standing above anything connected to the past, the space that we should be coming into, is this Two of Cups. And these are the winds of change. This is what is propelling us forward. When we are in the space of the heart, then all things will come to us in a way that is free of confusion. And it's not to say that we'll know exactly what to do at every single moment of the day. But when you're guided, when you're living in that heart space, and when you follow the ebb and the flow as it comes, and when you choose your perspective to stay in that heart space, it gives you a bit of a foot to stand on. Because there's a lot, with this moon energy sitting outside of all of this, also with this eclipse energy up here, with karma, like there's a lot that we haven't been seeing. And there's a lot of unknown that we're coming into, right? And it's almost like when things really begin to be revealed, we may really be at a loss of how we're going to move forward, right? Because a lot of people are saying, it's pandemic and it's this and it's that. Well, if that's the case, what does that mean? Right. And how does it affect world governments if multiple countries are in on this? A lot of people talk about, the Illuminati and the shadow government and the people who actually run things behind all the governments. If all of that is exposed, when all of that is exposed, if it is something to be exposed, is the world prepared to govern itself? Right? It's like a lot of times we look at the end of these systems, but we don't necessarily give thought to what comes after. And I feel like that's kind of sort of this moon energy. That's the unknown that lies beyond the unknown. And it can be really difficult for us to navigate that. And even on like less grand scales, even within our personal lives, there are unknowns behind the unknowns. A lot of things are unknown right now. But as long as we're connected in this space, and honestly, this kind of sort of feels like a relationship with spirit more so than anything. Because again, this is Cancerian energy after we've had 18 months of North Node in Cancer to develop a relationship with spirit. And as long as we know that these changes are guided by spirit, it's like it will work and it will flow with us. Now, the ground that we're standing on is this Ace of Swords, our foundation. Is the Ace of Swords supported by the Hermit and the High Priestess. Now, I feel like the Hermit is, I don't want to say proper and improper, but I feel like the Hermit would have been a proper approach to the energy that we're coming out of, to the energy that preceded this Leo season that we're coming into now. If we look at the opposite of Leo, it's Aquarius, right? So that would have been January into February of this year. And what has our path and what has our trajectory been since then? How much have we grown since then? And not just growth in a general sense, or healing in a general sense. How much closer have we grown to ourselves, to our higher selves? How much have we strengthened our own relationship and our own connection to spirit since then? Because I feel like that's going to be the key to really understanding and processing all of this information in a way that actually leads to some sort of resolution, or that gives value to this information, right? So the ground that we're standing on is just like everything has changed, and it may not go back to being the same as it was before. Now, I feel like, again, we kind of sort of have a this or that here. The old approach, we may be changing this up again. I'm feeling this as the old approach, the old path, and then the new path, like pre-eclipse, post-eclipse, and the energies that are available to us. The Hermit tries to make sense out of the darkness. The High Priestess, backed by that moon energy, is at home in the darkness. The Hermit needs a light to guide his path and to see. The High Priestess doesn't. It's like High Priestess is at one with that pure, natural, flowy spirit energy. And depending on which position we're kind of sort of seated in, it's going to determine and dictate how we perceive of things. And again, it's sort of giving me that Hierophant versus Devil type energy, where the Hierophant is the one that needs to make sense out of all of it, whereas it's the one that needs structure. It needs organization. It needs a lexicon or a codex to funnel the information through. It needs a system. But Hierophant energy can't necessarily account for anything that comes outside of the system. Anything that comes from outside of the system. A lot of Hierophant energy, a lot of the Capricorn energy, where we just had the South Node, where we have all of these heavy conjunctions, all this big time energy with Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter, and then like Mars did a run through, Mercury did a run through while Pluto was still in there, right? Leading up to this within the past year, for sure, within the past few months. It's like we have this opportunity with that Plutonian energy there to expand our foundation and to receive information outside of the realm that we would have received before. So it's almost like we're receiving things that don't neatly fit within the books that we already have, or we have the opportunity to move into a space that no one would have necessarily conceived of us moving into, at least as quickly. And how are we going to handle this, right? It's that return to old normal versus establishing something new. And I kind of sort of see it again reflected down here. What I do like about this is, though, I feel like neither one of these energies is necessarily a bad place to be standing in. Okay, vehicle, work. That's going to be my thing this video. Okay, work. Yeah, I don't think either one is necessarily bad. But one of them is definitely a lot quicker than the other one. And the quickest way is always to trust, right? It's like, I'm the type of person, when I learn something, I don't often ask a lot of questions. And I've found that as long as I try to stay, even if I don't completely 100% know what's going on, if I try to stay current, what will happen is we'll come across new information that puts the old information into context. And then it's like, it makes sense. It's like, wait till I get to the end of the story, it'll make sense in a second, right? It's like when you're reading a novel or watching a movie or something, and it's like somebody does something weird or somebody does something at the beginning of the movie, and then when you get towards the middle or the end of the movie, we come back to what that was. That's the kind of sort of space that we're in right now. And so with this high priestess energy, if you're just like current and in the moment and handling your day, handling the information in that day as it comes and doing your best to rise to the occasion, then you're going to be in a little bit you're going to be in a little bit better of a position than if you were to stop and try to analyze everything and compare it to what you've already known and all that kind of stuff. And the only reason why I say you're going to be in a little bit better situation, again, because of this moon energy sitting outside of all of this, and things are about to change in ways that no one would have expected. And if you are of, okay, I had to make sure my camera didn't just die on me because it did that last time. Excuse me. And I was like, why did it do that? If you're the type of person that needs to analyze everything, it's like you're really going to be slowing down all of the stuff that's coming in, all the stuff that lies outside of this. Spirit knows. And if we have a relationship with Spirit, we will know what we need to know when we need to know it. And I laugh because it's very much that energy. It's very much, you know what you need to know. You know enough to move forward. You don't need the whole story. You don't need all the details. You don't need what do you need all the details for? What do you need the backstory for? Right? Understanding someone's tragic backstory, it could explain why they've done what they've done. But if you were personally affected, it may not excuse it for you. And that isn't necessarily the exact example I wanted to go for. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we know what we need to know, right? And that's that. With that hermit energy, it's almost like we don't really have the time to dig into it because while we're doing that, something else is coming. And this is the ground that we stand on. The ground that we stand on is changing. It's not an earthquake. It's like a mudslide where the earth is moving beneath our feet, or like a sinkhole. It's not a sinkhole, but it's giving me sinkhole energy because it's just like, surprise! And you're like, oh my gosh, what? Right? Now, the oncoming challenge, where the winds of change on our back, is this Two of Swords. Why do I always mix up the suits? Is this Two of Cups, should be our connection with Spirit that we have. The winds of change are the challenge oncoming is karma. And I'm feeling karma as this moment of silence in between. It's not a dead space, but it feels like a dead space. Or a dead zone. Like, you know, when you're like, if there's a stretch of road that you drive on often and there's a dead zone in there and you're on the phone, you know where the dead zone is. So you may be like, hey, you know, I'm approaching the dead zone. I'll call you back when I'm out of it, right? It's like you can give the other person a heads up. Hey, I'm not going to hang up on you. We're going to be approaching this dead zone. Make sure you get out of it, right? Don't stop in the dead zone. Now, this dead zone energy is flanked by strength and the shadow side. I was like, it's not the devil in this deck. It's the shadow side. Karma and the shadow side. That's the devil in the world energies. No, that's the devil in judgment. Sorry. The devil in judgment energies. But yeah, with this karma, it's like there's this moment in between moments, a time in between times. We are exiting one space and entering another space. Did the Two of Pentacles come out somewhere? The Two of Pentacles came out up here earlier. Okay. Because, like, that's the Two of Pentacles, this Ace of Swords, and then the World card. Exactly. Because it's like whichever one we give a little bit more weight to, that's going to be the side we find ourselves on. That's going to be the world we find ourselves in. And the higher you can align, or the higher aligned to the greatest potentiality, the more aligned you are to the thing that you actually want, the better you'll be in the end. Okay? That's how I was like, how do I say it? It's that. And with strength and the shadow side clarifying these, honestly, this feels like, and temperance is up here, so love that. And the sky above us. This feels like this is our challenge. Our challenge is to find this balance between our light and our dark. Right? because that's how a projection works. If everything were white, it would be harder to see whatever is being projected. And so there's a screen, there is something that can receive the light in the image from the projector. And then around the screen, there is darkness to amplify the image, to cut out the noise, to give our eyes something to focus on. And that's what I'm getting here. With this karma card, I feel like this is about us being wholly, fully within ourselves aligned. And so we may, in this season, be coming upon some challenges that will test our alignment. Oh my gosh! 7, 8, 9. I literally just realized. 7 of Cups, 8 of Swords, 9 of Wands, 7, 8, 9. Literally just realized that. And then we have 2 10s up here. Do we have an 11? Here's the ace. Oh my gosh. Any pages? No. Any knights? No. Any queens or kings? No. Okay, well. It was fun while it lasted, right? Well, we have a 1 and a 2 here. And another 9 right there. Anyway, I'm sorry. It gives us something to focus on, and I feel like we may be coming upon some tests, something that will test our alignment, our self-integration, that will test how we've integrated. Okay, all right. And that's another aspect of this too, of cups coming in. So I feel like now, because everything kind of sort of clarifies and re-clarifies itself. So knowing this, when we come back here, this Ace of Pentacles is the potential that we have to come into this new world energy, this new timeline, if we've already done all of this integration that happens between strength, the devil, and karma. If we already did this in the past when we had that opportunity, we're going to be sitting at this Ace of Pentacles and at this Two of Cups, kind of sort of coming into the season on a better playing field, in a better position. Now, if we've been in the Nine of Swords, where we haven't done this integration, where we've been in this internal separation, and then the winds of change, everything is pushing us towards this alignment, both within ourselves, with spirit, and with each other. Everything is pushing us to this. Either Ace of Pentacles, you've already done it because of previous lessons, maybe some big lessons because it's a big pentacle. Like Pentacles, I've been feeling it as potential like physical experience, like actual real life lived experiences, instead of just like this swords type of mental game type of thing. Also lessons, but I don't know. I feel it more as experiences, and I feel like that's semantics between lessons and experiences. But the experience is the experience, and the lesson is what we're supposed to get out of the experience, right? We don't necessarily always get the lesson out of the experience, but that experience, once it's experienced, has been experienced. So regardless of if you get the lesson or not, you already have the experience. Now, this experience is an experience of this unification of the self. And again, if we've already done that, we're in a good position. If we haven't done that, this is the space that we're coming into. And that's why this Nine of Swords is kind of sort of clarifying the winds of change, the wind at our back, because it's pushing us to change. And it's putting us in a space of, with this Ace of Swords, maybe that's a moment of, or one of the aspects of this clarity we're getting, kind of sort of our position and the disparity in between the different parts of ourselves. And with this Hermit energy, it could be rectifying the disparities within ourselves to try to achieve and attain some sort of alignment that will also come with a spiritual alignment that would lead to this High Priestess energy. That will give this Ace of Swords, either it will give the Ace of Swords context, or this High Priestess will let us know it's okay to not know everything, right? And that's why I come on over here. This is the challenge ahead of us. It's been my personal experience that this challenge is not brand new. Like, I feel like sometimes I energetically kind of sort of tend to be ahead of the curve a little bit, which is fine. But again, like, we've had the opportunity to unite these two pieces of ourselves at least since the end of May, beginning of June in particular. especially in the US of A, we've had an opportunity to really come into more and more of that. And for me in particular, it was attached to using my voice. And it's like the more I use my voice, the more I was kind of sort of forced to reconcile the light and the shadow of me and put them like there was an arena that they naturally kind of sort of both aligned in. Now I was already I've done a whole bunch of shadow work. And so actually for me personally, this energy for me started in March when I had the opportunity to take the Nine of Swords approach to something or the Ace of Pentacles approach to something when it comes to these like Two of Cupsy types of matters. And the Nine of Swords side of this Two of Cups, it will point all of these swords outward, right? We see in this card that I believe, yeah, all the swords are pointed in the direction that she's looking in. There we go. All the swords are pointing in the direction she's looking in. None of those swords are pointed towards her, right? It's like when you point one finger at someone else, you have four fingers pointing back at you. And let's just talk about how, sometimes the thumb is a finger, sometimes the thumb ain't a finger. Girl, is it 3 or 4 fingers pointing back at us? That's why I point like this now. I point like this, where one finger is pointed outwards and the other 3 fingers are pointing downwards. Ain't nothing pointing back at me. Let me stop. But yeah, I actually had an opportunity in March to be like, okay. But again, for me personally, by that time, I had done enough shadow healing and I had done enough shadow work that my shadow was already like future focused. My shadow was like, I'm not sitting here. I'm not commiserating with you. I got better stuff to do. And you're not putting and pushing all of these burdens, all of these feelings that you're feeling onto me in order for me to hold. You're not treating me like the villain. Like my shadow and certain words literally told me, literally, figuratively, metaphorically, in my mind, told me, I'm not playing the villain anymore. You're not making me the villain. My eyes, my heart, my mind, it's all aligned future forward. I'm aligned with the light in you. So if there's any tomfoolery, banana fafanery that you want to engage in, if you want to feel some type of way about the situation that doesn't serve your highest good, if you want to choose that filter of perspective on everything that happened, that's a conscious choice that you're going to be making without my assistance. You're not dumping all of this sadness, disappointment, frustration, bewilderment, like all of that. You're not dumping it on me. I'm not carrying it. I'm not holding it anymore. I'm aligned with the light. Sorry. So I was forced to come into this space, or I just realized that naturally at some point my shadow had really aligned with the future. And again, there was this space. It was an opportunity for me personally to really come into a space of unconditional love. Not only unconditional love, but of self-analysis and a whole bunch of other things. It was a whole suite of lessons wrapped up into one set of experiences that I'm very grateful for, because now I feel like some of this I took advantage of an opportunity I had in the past to do this, and this is what we're moving into. Complete, like a lot of people are talking about us moving into unity consciousness and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if y'all know how I feel about unity consciousness, but I'm not getting into it. I got a lot of feelings that run counter the narrative in a lot of ways. But also I understand what it does for where we are. So I'll say that. But everything is coming into balance. This is us and ourselves. This is us in spirit. This is our light and our dark. Like that, this is what's happening. And it's also the oncoming challenge. Our oncoming challenge is to do this within ourselves. Right? And we have 3 majors here. So it's not an easy task. It's not an easy feat. Now, the sky above us is the Ten of Pentacles clarified by the Ten of Swords and the Temperance Pentacles. The Ten of Wands clarified by the Ten of Swords and this Temperance card. Now, what I love about these is we got this angel, and then we got the owl in the tree. Hold on, let me see if y'all see the owl in the tree saying, who did this to you? Whose fault is all of this? And it's real easy to point, like I said down here at this Ninosaurus, to point the finger outwards. But this owl is like, you need to realize the part that you played in it. But with that owl being in the shadows and that small in the card, I feel like, again, that's the perspective that a lot of people might not necessarily have taken when it's come to the closing and ending of these cycles in the past. And what that does is, it's like, I don't know how to say this. It's like there are a bunch of thoughts coming into my brain that exactly describe it, but there's like not a word coming to my brain to help me put it into words. And it's giving me a headache. Hold on, let me take my little thing off so my head can breathe. Ow. It's us choosing our burdens wisely, but more than anything, it's about us dropping the things in the physical, dropping the things in the 3D that are not of us, that don't matter, so that we can pick up, so that we can make room for, it feels divine. It's not a divine burden. This is a card of responsibility. This is the responsibility that comes with power. And it's a responsibility and a power that we can't shoulder if we're already overburdened. So I'm feeling this sky above us. This is a limitation. This is a glass or a brick or cement ceiling. This is a straw ceiling, a hold up, wait. A stick ceiling or a brick ceiling. Or a glass ceiling. I say straw, stick, or brick because, the big bad wolf. The house of straw, the house of sticks, the house of bricks. But instead of it being a house, it's the ceiling. And so there are a few different things that will affect our ability to raise the roof. First, it's the material that it's made out of. Second is the transparency of that material. And third is our own lung capacity. Now, our lung capacity could be related to the throat. And the lung capacity being related to the throat almost falls down here and here. I say it depends on the transparency because if you can't see through it, you may not think that there's anything outside of it, right? But if you can, then you know that there's something more. It depends on the material because then that'll be how hard it is to blow down or to break through. And it depends on our lung capacity because, if the wolf's been smoking 15 packs of cigarettes a day for the last 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 years of its life, it may not even be able to huff and puff and blow down the straw house, right? So that, like, there are a lot of factors that will determine whether or not we break through this ceiling. And this ceiling, I feel like, is related to all of these things that sort of sit outside of whatever this is. Now, at the present moment, we are in this Eight of Swords energy between the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Wands. Honestly, what this energy feels like is either we're easily distracted by our environment or we're going to stand our ground and go for what we know. Also, we have the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords, and then we have the 9 of Wands and the 9 of Swords. The only cups we have on the table is this. Oh, the 7 and the 2. We got the 2 and the 7. So that'd be 9 cups, right? Um, this is kind of lengthy, but that's fine because there's a lot that we're kind of sort of. I was watching the pit stop. So here at home, we gave up cable a minute ago, and we have some substitutes, but girl, I don't use them, and I don't necessarily care about Drag Race that much. And through what I see and like different videos on the internet, it's like it's good enough. I've seen enough of the episode for me. Now I'm sure it's a lot better if I watch the whole thing. But anyway, I already lost it. See, this is why I don't need to get lost on the tangent. The pit stop. Seven of Cups, Nine of Wands. Where was I going with this, and how did I just lose it just like that? I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me. Jujubee? No. Man, I really forgot where I was going with that. That's fine. So with the Eight of Swords, either we're going to be more distracted by the Seven of Cups, or we're going to sort of stick to our guns with the Nine of Wands. Honestly, I've been feeling Wands energy as related to integrity. It's coming back. It's coming back. Okay, there it is. All right. I was like, where was I going with that? So they had a stand-up comedy challenge in the last episode, and they met with Krakowski. I can't remember her first name. She plays whatchamacallit on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and that's how I know her. Mrs. Voorhees. Jocelyn? Mrs. Voorhees. I can't remember a lot of stuff right now. It's escaping my brain, so let me try to focus. And there was one contestant who met with her in the rehearsal part and the critique part before they actually performed, and she did really well. He did really well. She. Right. Blair did well with Ms. Krakowski, and so that night she didn't prepare or work on her routine because she thought she was good. Now, when it came time to the actual challenge, she bombed it. And that's one of the things, because the host, Bob the Drag Queen, asked Monet Exchange, like, do you think, like, what do you think of, like, meeting and getting the critiques before, like, the actual evaluation? And Monet was like, there's this thing where if you do really, really good in the trial run, you kind of sort of take it easy. And you don't work as hard, you don't hit it as hard, and you have this opportunity to slip up, like we saw with Blair. Or if you get a little bit of a stronger critique, then it'll encourage you that when you go home to actually work on your material and get comfortable with it, and you might rock it, like what happened with Ms. Cracker. And again, I didn't watch the actual episode. All I watched was the pit stop. And then, yeah, all I watched was the pit stop. But it's this energy of the things that are coming. If we slack off, if we don't do what it is that we need to do in order to make sure we're ready or to continuously prepare and to continuously evolve, we run the risk of falling short when it actually happens. And I think that's what this energy kind of sort of is talking about. With this Eight of Swords, it's either we're going to Nine of Wands continue to be vigilant. I was going to say diligent and vigilant. Or we're going to fall into sort of the illusion of prosperity and abundance with this Seven of Cups. Now, it's an illusion of prosperity and abundance because it hasn't been fulfilled yet. The wheel has not fully turned in yet. It can still be stopped. Things can still be derailed. It's not to take it easy. And I feel like with this Eight of Swords, like that may be the thing that we're not necessarily seeing. So if I just look at these, we'd have the Two of Cups as the winds of change. We're coming into a space where we're more connected and more fulfilled. The Ace of Swords being the ground that we're standing on. The Ace of Swords being the ground that we're standing on is just saying that on a fundamental level, at a root level, things are different. Things have changed, and there's some uncertainty because the part that should be fixed, we just found out, hey, newsflash, something's up. Now, the challenge, the oncoming challenge being karma, that would be whether or not we're going to put those cycles behind us and move into new ones, right? It's like we've already done all of the work to ensure the timeline and the path that we're on, but are we going to fully step into that, or are we going to allow that to pass us by? And then with the Ten of Wands being sort of the sky above our heads, I feel like this is just saying it's not necessarily going to get any easier, but the more we get conditioned and used to the weight of these wands, the easier it'll be on our body. And there's also the thing of like, either we'll get tired and it will like weigh us down even more with this Ten of Swords, or we'll get accustomed to the weight and it won't be as heavy with this Temperance card. Because I don't necessarily like, there are some things that we can drop from other people, but like spiritually, things may be the way they are for a minute. And that's why we need to learn to navigate in it how it is in order to really ensure that we end up where we want to be. And that's the quick and dirty of this. I wish I had a timestamp so I can just be like, boom, TLDW, too long, didn't watch, right at this time. Let me see. I'll say somewhere around 1 hour and 13 minutes. Girl, how I go this long? Easy. This is why, like, sometimes, depending on what comes out, even like when I was doing personals, it's like that video could be like between an hour and 2 hours long. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'd start the video, hey, I'm gonna keep this short. You know, an hour and a half later, it's still going. I was like, oh my gosh, I was gonna keep this short, but you know, it is what it is. Love ya. Bye. Let's see. Wednesday. What? I did say Wednesday. Okay. Give me one moment. TL. Now, if I could edit this, I would just put it at the beginning, but we ain't going there yet. 110-ish. Okay. So yeah, now what's sitting outside of all this, we have the Moon, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. I love this energy. The Moon is everything that's unknown. Again, there was a conversation that was happening in Capricorn, and these lunar cycles, these eclipses in Cancer, is the sort of like fulfillment or the beginning of all of these conversations that happened in secret between Pluto and all the other planets. Like now we're really starting to see what they've been talking about the first time they had those conjunctions, right? Because it was like when Pluto conjuncted Saturn in January, nothing too crazy happened. And then we come upon that Jupiter conjunction the first time, nothing too crazy happened again. And then after some time passes, when the nodes switch, when the South Node leaves Capricorn, then that's when stuff starts to go down, right? And that transition happened May 5th. We switched from Cancer, Capricorn nodes to Gemini, Sag nodes. Now we either, and I feel like this is the resulting, like, the Eight of Pentacles is the card of mastery. Saw him today, or her today. It was a her. That's the journeyman. And then the Page of Pentacles is taking something with this ace and it's actually beginning to use it in a way that is novel and unique and that serves, that aligns with the new energies coming in, and it serves to bring us what we actually want. But that energy will be best utilized by those who have come into this element of mastery. And that mastery is over the self, honestly. That's the third time I've seen the Eight of Pentacles today. It came out in the SKT and in the Pride Tarot earlier. And what was interesting is the SKT was the spirit, the Pride Tarot was the physical, and there was one pile of cards in between when we saw it in the spirit and when it came out in the physical. So the gap is getting smaller. Excuse me. And since the gap between the 3D and spirit is getting smaller, again, it puts us in the position where there are certain spiritual burdens that we just need to get used to handling, right? Like the world's not going to go back to the way it was in a lot of ways. And our connection with spirit may be one of those ways, because when you're in the 5D as compared to the 3D, you're a lot closer, right? And it's a lot less dense. There could be less hand holding. And that's what I got. My advice would be whatever healing and integration you need to do between your light and your shadow, do it. Because when you are unified and whole within yourself, you can more fully receive what you need to from spirit. You'll be able to handle this new information as it comes, and you'll be able to operate even when you're blindfolded and would be otherwise incapacitated. It's almost like with this Eight of Swords, I'm almost feeling it more like other people thinking that you're in this Eight of Swords energy when in reality you may not be. Instead of this being your perception of the world, it almost feels like the world's perception of you. And you may turn into a whole gosh darn blind swordsman and be like, whoa, we thought she was blind. She is blind. You see the blindfold on her eyes? Her senses have evolved beyond the things that she can physically see and feel with her senses, girl. She's tapped into that eighth sense. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to put all this together. I'm going to shuffle it up. I feel like that was a whole bunch of rambling, but I hope it made sense. It kind of sort of feels like more or less of the same, but it will depend on our ability to navigate whatever. Ooh, and then there's that Knight of Cups at the cut. Okay, with the Page of Cups at the bottom. That did not shuffle. Let's try that again. Yeah, I feel like that's more or less, a statement of what's going on. It feels like Leo season is going to be more of the same. But it's going to come with opportunities depending on what we've done and depending on our approach to get much more out of it. It's almost like whatever we've been cultivating and harnessing and giving energy to is going to come out. But there she is, the blind swordsman. I think that's actually the same girl. I'm pretty sure that's the same girl that's in the Eight of Swords. So she's already learned to operate without her vision. She's pretending to be tied up. Right? It's like that one part of the movie where she's pretending to be a damsel in distress. And in reality, it's like she pretended to be helpless, the 2 and the 3, so that she could go to the bad guys' base or go to their hideout or whatever, and then she's just gonna take them out. That was her easiest way in. It's like instead of going out and looking for their hideout, I'm just gonna draw them. I'm gonna lure them to me, be their little hostage, play damsel in distress, and then wreck S up. About to F up. Okay, so final message for this. It's like that sleeper cell activation type of energy, It's time to wake up and do what we actually came here to do. We're not as helpless and hopeless as, we may have let on. But the time is now for you to lip sync for your life. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. Alright. Try to give this a 3 cut. And last and final message, please. 1 or 2 cards to clear this out and to move on. Yeah, I think that's kind of sort of been the thing this year, though. It's like, oh, the next season is going to be better. Oh, certainly this won't last until the summer. It's like, girl, Leo season is going to be more of the same if we're doing more of the same. Right? But again, I don't know. See, yeah. I do think that some things will be changing though. But that's just Leo season overall. So even if some things happen within Leo season, let's say you move or you get a new job or something like that, right? Overall, the energy is going to be more of the same. But how we navigate and operate within that can change, if that makes any sense. And so it may be the case that again, with that 10 of Wands, if it gets easier to carry when we get used to it, it's oh, when did this get so easy? When did this get light? Who took the burden off of me? And it's the outside hasn't changed, you've changed. Like, that's what came to my mind. It's like, the world hasn't changed, you've changed. And then I tried to give some context to it. This card is not coming out. Oh, there we go. Well, there's a whole bunch of cards. Justice and the Seven of Cups. Choose the thing that aligns with you, because again, it could be the potential for some distractions to come up. Or, yeah, there it is. Let's see. The Five of Wands. Yeah, well, I thought that would give me the or. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Swords. So, choose the thing that aligns with you, and if it brings you more headache than anything else, it may not be for you. The Five of Wands, this is actually the first decan of Leo. 5, 6, 7 are fixed fire Leo cards. But also, I feel like when you make the right choice, it opens the doorway for more of the same. It almost feels like whatever you choose in this time between times, you're going to get more of the same. It almost feels like we've reset the energetic meter. Almost. I actually am going to pull a Wisdom of Lord Ganesha card, just because I feel like that was a little heavier than I would have liked. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to see if Lord Ganesha will come in and temper that for us, water it down a little bit, dose us up with a little bit of morphine or opium. Back in the days when they used to have Coke and Coca-Cola. Like, the kids are bouncing off the walls and we don't quite know why. Well, have you given them a Coke lately? But yeah. I was like, okay, well, they have cocaine in them, so. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, you didn't know that? No, girl. Like, yeah, like, what else did you think the Coke was? Duh. Have y'all ever seen Pulp Fiction? I was going to be like, what's the movie name? Pulp Fiction, where she was like, I'm going to go powder my nose. And then I looked towards the person I was watching it with, and I was like, is that what it used to mean? Because I thought it meant, like, actually putting powder on their nose. And he was like, yeah, that is what it used to mean, but, also at the same time, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and snort some Coke. Like, oh, goodness. I didn't even watch that. No, I watched that with my roommate. And I watched a piece of it. I was like, how long is this movie? I'm not sitting through this whole thing. And I left. I left when they took her to the other dude's house. And he was like, why did you bring her here? He was like, you're going to help me fix this. Okay. Let's get some guidance, some wisdom, some direction for how to successfully navigate a Leo season. Mars is going to be in Aries like all year. Venus will be moving into Cancer. Venus will be moving into Cancer sometime around the Lionsgate portal. It's either the 6th or the 7th. So Venus is actually going to be conjuncting the North Node in Gemini first. Mercury has already done its retrograde. I think Mercury is going to be moving into Leo at about the same time Venus is moving into Cancer. What else is happening transit-wise? Like, that's all I know off the top of my head. We'll have the Lionsgate portal in Leo season. The Mayan New Year is going to be happening in Leo season on the 26th. Our first moon is going to be that full moon. So instead of starting with these new moons where, like, we're in the dark, we're going to be starting with full moons where things are a little bit, more illuminated. So that'll be interesting. I think I kind of sort of like that better. Because I feel like when you have a full moon first, like, you release things on a full moon, right? So then it's like you get to manifest something with a clean slate in that energy. rather than trying to manifest something with the energy first in order for like the cosmos and the universe to be like, haha, you thought this was happening this season? Guess again. And then you're like, what about all the stuff I already manifested? Like, I've already placed my order and you're canceling my vacation. It's like, yeah, bro, sorry. But now it's like we're gonna know first, and then we'll get to pick. Okay. Good as a cut. I'll just pull off the. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, go ahead and drop out a card, please. I pulled this out to get some guidance and wisdom. I'm not taking that. Right, I'll let the blank card, or I'll put the blank card in here to be like, oh, this is Lord Ganesha saying, like, live your life and mind your business and find out. Can we get some guidance, please? I've been seeing the courage card a lot, honestly. Just like one card or two if you're like, or like the whole deck, because I feel like some people may need it. But yeah, if you've already found that aligned space, I feel like you're gonna be Gucci. You're gonna be good. If you haven't found it yet, it's gonna be maybe more things prompting you into that energy. Like it feels like, again, I don't know if I'm just ahead of the curve, but it feels like a lot of what people are saying we need to be doing right now, or a lot of what people are feeling right now, we already had the opportunity to do that. And that's why, I guess, the first time I pulled for the Cancer New Moon, the Ten of Swords and Judgment were the first two cards that came out of the SKT. This time, it was the Eight of Pentacles and something else. What was the other? The Tower. The Eight of Pentacles and the Tower. And then that went into the King of Pentacles clarified by, I don't remember. But it was interesting because it was like, okay, well, either you're on the road of mastery or your whole life is about to fall apart because you still haven't done the things that we've been trying to get you to do. And it's kind of sort of more of the same energy. It's like we need as many people in this position as possible. So we are slowing down all of the movement. We are delaying all flights until we get at least this many people on this flight, right? It's like if we can't get at least 50 people on this flight, it's not going to go out. And we have some VIPs who need to go out. So we're going to stop until we get 47, 46, 45, 43, 32, 21, 18, 19, 17, 2 more people to volunteer to get our 50-person minimum, and then we'll take off. So, you know. Some people are holding up the show, and it's fine. What are the cards that came out? Ooh, we got Understanding, number 13, and number 46, Splendor. Splendor and Understanding. These are two very, I feel like, contrasting but interesting energies. Let me get into the book and see what this is about. Where's my phone? Here it is. Oh no, that's fine. I wasn't using it anyway. I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z clips lately on the internet for some reason. Number 13, Understanding. Turned right to it. Work. Gaze into the eye of Ganesha. I'll put it up here so y'all can see. Understanding says, clear vision is the gift of seeing with not only your physical eyes, but also with your spiritual eyes. The eye of Ganesha symbolizes the state of grace that is reached through your willingness to do your spiritual work in this lifetime. I'm sorry. That's not funny, and it's getting kind of late. I don't need to be so loud. I don't know why I just laughed like that. Through your willingness to do your spiritual work. Are we actually doing that nowadays? Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. As you focus on your life lessons, you reclaim the true meaning of your being. Like I was saying, you have the talent and determination to continue on this course before you. The eye holds the key to your higher consciousness and your gift of awareness. Look for the deeper meaning in ordinary experiences. And that's interesting because earlier I was talking about the tree of life and how left eye Bina is knowledge, or Binna, I don't know how to pronounce it. Right eye Chokma is wisdom, And I was like, well, if the left eye is knowledge and the right eye is wisdom, what would the third eye be? And it took me a second, but then I was like, the third eye would be awareness. And awareness is that intersection of knowledge and wisdom. Awareness is the knowing of the world, the knowing of the self, and the knowing of how we bring these two together and navigate through. It's like how wisdom and knowledge operate within each other. That's where I'm going to leave it because, I ain't got time to be like going, it is what it is. The eye holds the key to your higher consciousness and your gift of awareness. Look for the deeper meaning in ordinary experiences. Work on being more observant. Remember to live in balance with your physical and spiritual bodies. And again, that could have been that light and dark, ego, shadow, consciousness balance with that karma that we're kind of sort of learning to come into. Yeah. Take the time to look at your current circumstances from a different perspective. Free yourself from limiting thoughts and beliefs. You are receiving an opportunity to move beyond your past. Accept that the fear from the past, and even as. Wait, what? Accept that the fear from the past, and even as you move forward, okay, serves a greater purpose. That was written weirdly, I feel. Accept that the fear from your past, and even as you move forward, serves a greater purpose. Imagine yourself soaring above this current situation and gaining a greater perspective. It is your ability to rise above the conditions that will benefit you and assist you in flourishing. Ganesha asks that you give yourself permission to be free in order to attain the joy that your heart desires. Next we have, what was this again? Oh, I already forgot. Splendor, number 46, which is a 10. I've been feeling 10 energy lately. What 10 was that? It was the 10 of Swords on the weekly release last week. Now, I was going to do that tomorrow, but we got that new moon coming in tonight. Well, the new moon happens at like noon-ish Eastern, I think, tomorrow. And so, like, I might wait until like Tuesday or Wednesday. I may go ahead and do it tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Number 46. What is this? 37. Okay. I didn't even finish that. So I've been feeling the 10 energy as us. It's that in between. 9 is completion, 10 is a new beginning, but 10 is like 1 foot over the threshold, right? So since we have 1 foot over the threshold, there is 1 foot still in the old energy. And that's why that 10 is completion and new beginnings. It's both at the same time because it's that in between, right? And then 46, 4 is a number of stability, 6 is a number of harmony, 1 is a number of new beginnings. And so with this, whatever stability we found within ourselves that created an air of harmony around us in the old energy will be even further amplified in the new energy. That's really going to give us the ability to take the world by storm, I guess. I don't know. Take them as they resonate, yo. Splendor. Seek and honor the beauty and splendor that is within and around you. Ganesha is surrounded by beauty in this card and is calling it to your attention. Awaken to what you are surrounding yourself with at this moment. See more deeply and be aware of the impact of your surroundings on what you create in your life. Ganesha urges you to let beauty penetrate into your heart. You will naturally respond to this beauty by fostering more care and love, not only in your life, but also in the lives of those around you. If your critical voice has been overactive lately, or you find... This one might be for me. If your critical voice has been overactive lately, or you find that you have been dwelling on negative behaviors, take a moment to realign yourself. You arrived in the world as a unique and magnificent individual. The core of your being is whole, beautiful, and filled with love. The essence of the higher self wants nothing more or less than for you to be who you were created to be. Ganesha is standing in a meadow surrounded by flowers. The flowers symbolize perfection and beauty. The variety of colors streams healing, loving energy in your direction. The butterflies symbolize the change and evolution that your soul is undertaking. Remember to have an awareness of your surroundings. See the splendor that is being shown to you and utilize this energy to support your own transformations. Okay. So that card is telling me that it's going to be about our perspective, and it's going to be about the perspective that we have and hold as we come into this energy, right? Because again, and I guess that's what, like, the world hasn't changed, you've changed, may have been alluding to as well. There's so much power in our perspective that we just, I feel like, really willingly give away. And we may not even fully realize it when we do, but we have the ability to choose the way we see the world, and we have the ability to determine how we interact with it. And it's like that's the section, or that's the point of our power that can, I want to say, never be taken away, honestly. And it may be our gateway to seeing through this energy. With Justice, the Seven of Cups, and this Five of Wands. It's like we can look at it in the perspective of that verses, or we can choose to align in such a way that reclaims that and recodes our experience. Girl. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Swords. I forgot about that. I feel like more than anything, the Seven of Swords is an opportunity for us to reclaim our power or to continue giving it away. And there are many ways to give away your power, some less obvious than others. And that's where I'm going to end this. I honestly hope that Leo season is like amazing, because I'm personally ready for, something. I mean, mine is going to be amazing because it has no choice but to be. That's the level of sovereignty we're expressing over here. And I'll catch y'all later. I'll catch y'all whenever I catch y'all, right? That's how life works. So everyone have a good one. Thanks for the folks who came in and made themselves known. Your presence is greatly appreciated. And let's see, from within me, is there any advice I would give to folks about this? I mean, Nine of Wands is the way to go. Nine of Wands is the way to do it. For me personally, it's been so much easier when I've stood up and I've risen to the occasion. It's been so much easier than trying to ignore everything, than running away, than hiding, than shrinking, than doing whatever else. It's just, I found it's easier when you stand up, you look at it for what it is, and you do within yourself whatever you need to do in order to nurture and cultivate the alignment that you have, and in order to progress it. Also, it gives you opportunities to be the various parts of you in various situations. And it gives you the ability and the opportunity to learn how to leverage and manage those different sides of you. Because everything in moderation, right? Even medicine, when taken at too high of a dose, can be toxic. And even certain poisons or poisonous or toxic things, when taken in low enough of a dose, can be therapeutic. And it's about learning that portion control, learning that temperance, learning that balance. And one of the best ways to learn and practice that balance is through all of the situations that life throws at you. How are you going to get better at playing baseball if you never swing the bat when the pitcher throws it, girl? Sorry. I tried. All right, bye, y'all.